How's it going, everyone? Now, this week, what we're going to talk about is, of course, gold diggers. Now, I wanted to talk about this topic because I think sometimes people tend to mix this up. Now, there's a lot of, I tend to watch a lot of videos on YouTube to get inspired, so to speak, on doing some of my topics, but not necessarily what you guys may think. Now, sometimes comments that people make pertaining to a particular video that I may watch, and someone maybe express themselves how they feel about certain things, is that's their opinion, and people bash them and say, oh, you're a bitch, you're a gold digger, so forth, etc. And I find it absurd that some of these people tend to mix these things up quite a bit. Now, in my opinion, what a gold digger is someone that's only with someone for what they can gain. Whether it be money, whether it be status, and so forth, etc. Still the same thing, in my opinion. You're a gold digger, and you're only with that person for what you can gain. You're not generally into that person. You don't generally like that person, so forth, etc. Now, what people tend to get this mixed up with is if a woman, and this goes for men just as well, because I feel personally at this time and age, especially the fact that women want to be 50-50, want to be equals with men. If I'm getting in a relationship, a woman has to be bringing something to the table. I don't mess around freely just with anyone. I have standards. A lot of guys don't. Hey, that's their thing. But that's just how I've always been. If I'm going to be messing around with a woman, even if it's just for fun and not going anywhere or whatever, she has to have some kind of standards, some kind of substance to bring to the table. And what I mean by that is she have to clearly have goals for herself. She have to clearly wants to go somewhere in life and can show me that she's going somewhere in life by, of course, whatever it is she's doing. If you're going to be marrying someone, you want to marry somebody that has goals, have a future, and kind of have a plan for themselves. In case we get married and we have kids and something happened to me, yes, we have insurance and so forth for that. But at the same time, I want to be able to know that, hey, if something ever happened to me, you can take care of the kids. And you don't have to go looking and moving another guy into our house just to survive and so forth, etc. Which I've seen that happen a lot. Being from a young boy growing up, I've seen these things happen. So you kind of grow up and realize these things, and you kind of set rules, and you just kind of live by them. And that's just how I live. So I think it's okay for a female or for a guy to want something in return, meaning not necessarily want a person's money, but to want a person to be, of course, not as sophisticated as them. I mean, if I make 100,000 a year, doesn't mean that my wife or the girl I'm talking to has to make 100,000 a year. As long as she has values, as long as she has goals, and she's striving towards them, I want to be able to push her to her limit to be as successful as possible, and for her to do the same to me. I remember I was talking to a friend of mine on Twitter, and we were talking about the same thing, something similar, where we were talking about, I don't mind if my wife makes more money than I do, or if my girlfriend makes more money than I do. It's only motivation for me. And the reason why is because I can look into myself and say, damn, she's making 50,000 more than I do. That means I need to step my game up. That means I need to do something else. I need to invest. I need to do something to try and surpass her. Not necessarily as an ego thing, or maybe you could say that too as well, but it's in a friendly way. It's not in a way where if I never get to that point where I'm making as much money as she is, and I just decide, well, you're making way more money than I am, so we can't be together. Of course not. If it was a situation where because she was making more money than I was, and she started to express herself as being better than I am, because she's making more money than I am, and she's more sophisticated than I am as far as money goes and so forth, whatever the business she may be doing or business she may have or involved with, whoever she may be working for, she may just feel like she's just way better than I am, and may even challenge me for being, of course, the man of the house, challenge me for the pants in the house. Then we may have an issue. That's where we may have an issue. But I think Making money doesn't make you a man. Making more money than a person doesn't make you a man. Or making more money than a man doesn't make you decide all of a sudden you need to wear the pants in the house. And I think that happens a lot in relationship. This is something I previously touched on as well on a previous topic about a lot of, women in general. You guys know what I'm referring to. Tend to get to that point where they're very successful. They're making a lot of money. They set their bars so high, and they find it very difficult to find men to fill that gap. A lot of them are still singles in their 30, want to have kids, and can't find a man on their level. And sometimes, they don't want to lower their standards. Well, your standards are too high. You can't expect because you're making 200,000 a year, and a guy that you want to talk to, you're expecting to make 200,000 a year. Not everyone is that lucky. And, it doesn't mean the guy that makes 200,000 a year wants to be married either. So, it's a lot of different things that goes on there. I know plenty of people that makes more money than their spouse, and they're living very happy. There's no issue. In fact, a lot of people I've met it's always one way or another. It's never the case where the husband makes 200,000 a year and the wife makes 200,000. It's always one person makes more than the other, whether it be the female or the guy. And nothing is wrong with the relationship. I'm not saying that people can't have goals and want to set certain goals for themselves as what they want to expect from another person. And to be honest, you have the right to. If you feel like you make 200,000 a year or $1 million a year, and you want the person that you're going to be with or married makes $1 million a year, that's your prerogative. Good luck. Good luck. You're going to have a hard time finding that. Not saying that it's not there. You're just going to have a hard time finding it. That guy may have an ego problem or want to marry somebody that is making less than he is, so you can feel like he's on top of the world. This goes for guys too as well. But in my opinion, I think we as individuals, especially us guys, need to stop criticizing every single woman that they're stating their opinion of. If they're successful and they're making 200,000, 300,000 a year, 100,000 a year, and want to find someone that's doing good for themselves, making 50,000 or 80,000 a year, up and coming, or even if they were making just 40,000 a year, but have goals and, have a future ahead of them, they have, a priority or something that they're steering themselves to. I mean, that's workable in my opinion. And a lot of women need to know this too as well, because that's the downfall to a lot of women, especially a lot of successful Black women too as well. I mean, I've seen the studies, I've seen a lot of documentaries. A lot of Black women who are making a lot of money tend to want to marry guys that are making the same amount as them. And that is going to be very difficult to find, on both sides. And then again, if you do find, it doesn't necessarily mean that person wants to settle down too. So we have to have our priorities in straight and in order. But at the same time, I feel like us guys, again, and female too as well, stop, misinterpreting certain things. Stop, thinking that every single woman that says they want to have a guy that makes the same as them or make a certain amount of money or have goals and so forth, etc., as a gold digger. I don't necessarily think that is the case. And that's one of the reasons why I wanted to touch on that. I see that happening a lot. I see it in the comments of a lot of videos and so forth as well, and YouTube. And it just seems to goes around a lot. So I just wanted to touch on that. Let me know what you guys think. Do you guys agree with me? Disagree with me? I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinion in the comment section, as well as leaving any suggestions you guys may have for a topic idea. I'd really appreciate it. And of course, guys, if you haven't subscribed already, be sure to definitely subscribe. Thank you guys so much for tuning into another episode. Hopefully you guys did enjoy this one. Be sure to leave a like, subscribe, share, and we'll see you guys in the next episode. Thank you very much for watching.